Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Glad to have you all here. It's Friday, so you know we're all feeling good. And there's lots of reasons to be in a good mood today. Of course, it's Freedom Family Friday, which means that the lovely Steffi P. for Liberty is joining us here. Hey, Steffi.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are we feeling today?
I'm feeling a little tired, but I'm excited because it's a 3-day weekend.
3-day weekend, Labor Day holiday. It's a communist holiday, but you know what? We don't care. We're going to take it off anyway, right?
As long as it benefits me, that's fine.
Exactly. As long as it's good for me, you little commie. We're glad to have you here, Stephanie, and we've got a lot of great guests and topics to cover today. Yeah.
So call it Female Friday.
Yeah, it's like
except for you.
Female Friday except for me. Yes. We are going to have 3 awesome guests on the show today.
Yeah.
2 of which it's their first time on the program.
That's cool.
Starting up at 7:30 this morning, we're going to have Alexandra Hudson. She is an author of a new book that offers the opportunity to heal America's divide. It's called The Soul of Civility: Timeless Principles to Heal Society and Ourselves. Yes, the Wake Up America show is a liberty, politics, news talk show, but on Fridays we typically like to lighten it up a little bit and talk about mental health stuff because, Steffi, you are a therapist.
I am a therapist. I'm a licensed social worker.
Yes, but you're not one of those weird therapists that like tells people to like cut their hoo-ha's off or wing-wangs off or anything like that.
No, I only work with adults,
Yes.
so I let them be happy how they want to, as long as they're not hurting anybody else.
Exactly. So we've got
Themselves.
yes. So we're going to have a great show today. Alexandra Hudson's going to talk to us today about timeless principles to heal society and ourselves. Also, we'll be talking a little bit about some of the loneliness epidemic that we're struggling with in this country and the epidemic of fatherlessness. So we've got a lot of great questions that we're going to hopefully get answered today, but we'll see. Some of these might be too big to answer, and we'll have to hear from you. You can always text the show at 573-319-1586. Again, you can text the show, let us know what's on your mind at 573-319-1586. That's the text line that's open. If you send us a text and you don't want us to read it on air, that's fine. Just let us know that it's just for us, or don't say who it's from. If you want us to read it on air, just send us those instructions. Otherwise, typically, if you send us something to the chat, then we do share it on air because we can't always monitor the chat because sometimes it goes by a little too fast and there's a lot of stuff in there. So
We have so many people watching.
yeah, we've got a nice big audience today, and for that we have to say thank you to Rumble for featuring us today at the top of the website.
They have literally changed our life overnight.
Yeah, Siraj Hashmi. Yeah, Rumble has stepped up in a big way because they heard that YouTube demonetized us.
Yeah.
Which took away a significant portion of our revenue. And so Rumble has stepped up and said, hey, we're a free speech platform. We want people like yourself to be able to be heard. So they are featuring us now at the top of the website, which is great. We appreciate that. So it's,
It's amazing.
yeah, having this
Such
many
an
views.
honor and blessing.
It is. It is.
Mhm.
Having this many viewers on the Wake Up America show is just like a flower in bloom. It's an explosion, which is so exciting because it's like the 1 year anniversary of the Wake Up America show.
What good timing.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you're a regular of the Wake Up America show, you already know what to do, right? Click that like button. And if it's your first time here joining us today, which I imagine most of you are, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can get updates whenever we go live, which is every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central. We've got a new talent coming on the show today. Her name is Kellyanna Brooking. She's the host of a show called A Few Words, and she's an interesting young lady. Teenager, so very young, but she's got some interesting political views. You know, she's a member of Gen Z, and you know what? We kind of talk smack about Gen Z a lot in this show. So maybe we need to start getting more representatives from Gen Z in here so they can defend themselves, right?
We can't all be the same.
Exactly. So I saw Kellyanna Brookings. Kellyanna or Kellyanna? I guess we'll find out. Kellyanna. Well, we saw her video on Instagram that she posted where she said that, and this I was kind of shocked. She said that she thought Donald Trump's mugshot was cringe.
Cringe.
Whereas I thought most people thought it was based in red pilled.
I mean, what mugshot is not cringe?
Well, honestly, there's a lot of racial angles to this. People are like, oh, he's going to get the black vote for this, which is, kind of cringe, but yeah.
Down with the crime, I guess.
I'm not sure we should go that way. But anyways, we'll hear from Kellyanna Brooking today at 8 a.m. where she talks about why she thinks that the Trump mugshot is cringe and that we need to move on. So be interesting to hear her point of view on that one. Then at 8:30 a.m. today, since we missed her yesterday, Daniela Pensack.
Daniela Pensack.
No, Daniela Pensack.
It'd be funny if that's her name.
Yeah, no. Daniela Pensack is going to be joining us this morning on the show to talk about. So you know how we spoke to Jaden, the Gadsden flag kid, yesterday, and he was a cute kid, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. I can't believe he made an appearance. I thought it was going to be his mother.
Yeah.
So when I saw his face with his little hat, I was like, oh my goodness, this can't be real.
Adorable kid.
Yes.
And fought for his freedom and won. He said, don't tread on me. And he meant it. And won the right to wear his Gadsden flag at the school. And of course, became a meme and everybody's talking about him. Well, so we talked to him on the show, but apparently the governor of California, or excuse me, Colorado, the governor of California would never do that, of course. The governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, who is a Democrat, actually supported Jaden's right to wear the Gadsden flag. So that's an interesting little development to me. We're going to talk to Daniela Pensack. We're going to talk to Daniela Pensack this morning. It'll be great. Oh, Salty Girl is joining us this morning from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. What's up?
Hello.
God, I love the Outer Banks. I haven't been there so long. It's beautiful out there.
Been there.
One day we should vacation out there. Yeah, just off the wall. Yeah, it's
Used to watch all the Nicholas Sparks movies, like The Notebook, and they all usually take place in the Carolinas.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there. Good morning, Salty Girl. Good morning to all of our friends. Yo, homie, the Onion Dip, Andy Opperman, Old Saucy joining us as well as John M. Knox. Yep. Rare Camellia is here, the lovely Rare Camellia, and she's going to be with us next Tuesday on our 1 year anniversary show. We're excited.
She'll be here. You'll be here. Maybe other people will be here.
I hope you guys will all join us again. The Wake Up America show again every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day with a cup of Founding Flavors coffee, and we are going to rock and roll today. Is this? Let's see. Why don't we get started with the topics? So the first video that I'd like to play for you is again my presidential crush, I guess, right here is
I am so glad that we both like the same person.
Yeah, well,
it's nice.
Yes. So for some reason my mouse has decided
I
to
was
disappear.
a Vivek fan even before the debate because he played tennis and I played tennis when I was a kid, so I can totally connect. And I loved his rap performance. I think that's
You thought
totally
that
cool.
that the Eminem rap performance that he gave was not cringe?
No, it takes major cojones to get up there and sing and dance in front of people. Yeah, so I think it was totally cool, not cringe. See, a lot of people are just jealous because they don't have that confidence. Imagine, well, I guess Chris Christie, I think he has some confidence. I've seen him dance before.
Yeah, no, Chris Christie, I think, is actually kind of cringe, but
goofy. Yeah.
his is kind of goofy. For some reason, my mouse has decided to disappear on my screen. Yeah, so
We need to set out a mouse trap.
yeah. So
Jokes.
so I've got a clip of Vivek Ramaswamy, but if my mouse will actually allow me to click on it, which it looks like it's not. No. I can, but the problem is that the thing has just disappeared, which, when
I have a touchscreen laptop, and that's why I like it, because I can just move my finger around the screen.
Yep, that's definitely going to be a problem. Well, here's the thing. So we're going to just have to talk it through because unfortunately it looks like this could be a catastrophic problem for the Wake Up America show, but we're not going to let it. Because I do have a stream deck and I can control things here. So Vivek Ramaswamy. So the clip is that that Vivek Ramaswamy was talking about the problem of fatherlessness here in the United States, which is a sincere issue. And the clip that we were going to play in the Twitter weirdness scene was the social weirdness scene was going to be Bill Barr. I always want to say Bob Barr.
Yeah, I get them confused. So who's Bill?
So the former Attorney General of the United States under Donald Trump was Bill Barr.
Okay.
And Bill Barr was doing a segment on Fox News where he was talking about the Vivek Ramaswamy appearance in the debate. And he said, that the problem in the United States that we have right now is the issue of fatherlessness. Fatherlessness is the cause of a lot of our societal ills and a lot of our societal problems. So if we could solve the problem of fatherlessness, we could solve most of the problems that the United States is struggling with today. They were talking about, for example, the 1960s, how they said it was a nuclear bomb that went off. And this coincides with Lyndon Johnson's Great Society, right?
What is that?
Welfare
Great
programs.
Society. Oh,
so
okay.
this is when they really started putting minorities and poor people on welfare programs and getting them addicted to government largesse, so much so that this is how they said it. This is their words, not mine, that essentially, and this is what Vivek said, is that essentially that they pay single women more money. It's better for single women to be single and stay single than to have a man in the home, because why would you have a man in the home when you can get paid to
raise your kids on your own?
Yeah,
exactly.
I think I've limped my way through getting the clip here. So let's take a look and see if I can.
It's back.
No, the mouse isn't back, but I'm just you can see the ghost of the mouse. See over there like that. Okay, so hold on.
Ghost is here.
The mouse ghost is here. So we're gonna pull it up and hopefully all the other parts play.
Too, in the 1960s, I'm like, what else was happening? Because I really think this is a cultural shift. In the 1960s, wasn't it all about hippie, free love? And so maybe that's when people were starting to think more independently and not so much in terms of the confines of marriage, and they're just more like, I'm going off.
That's part of it. Yeah. So if I can just figure out how to click on this thing here somehow, then I can play this clip. But they talk about Lyndon Johnson getting people on welfare, and I guess it's just like
the same applies for men. It's like if it's a motherless home, because I know there's a lot of motherless homes as well, either from a mom passing away or leaving, getting a divorce or having a drug problem or something. So I would assume similar problems arise.
Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy has earned praise from conservatives for bringing light to America's fatherless epidemic during last week's debate. The numbers have changed dramatically over the past couple of generations and could be playing a key role in other nationwide crises. Let's bring in Bill Barr, the former U.S. Attorney General under President Trump. Good to see you, Mr. Attorney General. I just want to play a little bit about what Vivek Ramaswamy said during the debate regarding fatherlessness. Let's tee that up here.
We also have a federal government that pays single women more not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house, contributing to an epidemic of fatherlessness. And I think that goes hand in glove with the education crisis as well, because we have to remember education starts with the family, and the nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind.
We mentioned at the top of this, Mr. Attorney General, that things have changed dramatically over the generations. First of all, single-parent households in the U.S., 30%. At this point, the world average is 7%. In China, it's just 3%. 40% of U.S. babies now are born out of wedlock compared to 5% in 1960. You're very concerned about this. How did we get here?
Well, Professor Thomas Sowell at Stanford's done a lot of work on this, especially with minority communities. And he points out that black families were even more intact for parts of the early 20th century. They had high rates of marriage, and they didn't have the kinds of rates of fatherless families that they do today. But around 1960, it was like a nuclear bomb went off, and we started seeing more and more out of wedlock births, more and more fatherless families. And I think Vivek is right. I think federal policy had a lot to do with that, the welfare policies that started in the 60s. Now, it's not the only reason for it, but it's a big part of it.
You talk about this in your book, One Damn Thing After Another. Right. Vivek Ramaswamy related it to education. Yeah. In your book, you relate it to crime. You say, quote, if there's a single identifiable root cause of crime, it's the absence of a father in too many families. The one factor the left refuses to acknowledge is a problem. Why is this a conservative issue?
Well, it shouldn't be. I hear, very prominent black leaders say this all the time. Many from Hollywood and so forth, saying the presence of a father in the life of a young man is the most important thing, both in education, but also in keeping him on the straight and narrow. The family is a moral institution, for instilling values and discipline. And when it breaks down, then we see more and more crime. It is the highest correlation to criminal activity. It's not poverty. It's the absence of a father in the home. Now, it's not just a minority population. It's been spreading in our society. And a lot of white communities are hit by this. And it's happening in countries like Britain as well.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I'm assuming fatherless can mean a divorce household where the father doesn't live in the home. I was trying to look up what fatherless exactly means.
Well, I think the way I kind of interpret it is I see it as like fatherlessness is just that they're not there, no matter, like they're not in the home, right? Or that they
or not in existence at all.
Well, I mean, either dying is one thing. Probably that's a little bit more rare. But in terms of fatherlessness, I just think that they're just not around, right? They're not hanging out with them. They're not spending time with them. But what they've identified here, the government problem with this one is this question of, and I've seen a lot of these, like the red pill community discuss this as well, is that because of welfare, women can essentially get paid to divorce their husbands, right? They divorce their husbands and then they're going to get checks from the government. They get paid essentially to be single moms. I mean, is that not the case, Steph?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from a divorced family myself. My parents got divorced when I was 17, so I didn't really have to deal with the whole child support thing because my dad didn't have to do that because I was almost 18 at the time. But yeah, I mean, they're mandated by law to pay child support or else they can go to jail.
Right.
So it's like if the father was in the household, he wouldn't be mandated to pay a certain amount for the kid.
Right.
So it's like the mother could have had to pay for the kid completely, even while the father was in the home.
Right.
So it's like the mom's more financially stable without the father being there.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. It's like, a lot of like, if you feel the need, like if you, let's say that you're tired of your husband, you've been, married for 10 years, you just feel you're like, oh, well, you know what? I can just get rid of him and the government will pay me to raise my kids and I don't have to worry about him anymore. He's out of my life. Right.
Absolutely.
So it's not to say that there aren't deadbeat dads. There certainly are. But in my opinion, we have overly focused on deadbeat dads who are out of the home, who leave and just, don't stick around. Not to say that doesn't happen. It does.
A lot of the fathers really do want to be involved. And that's where like the equal shared parenting organizations come in because these fathers want to have 50-50 custody. But because laws typically favor the mothers, the fathers miss out a lot of times in terms of custody agreements.
No, I agree with you. I do think that, again, we focus on society as a lot on deadbeat dads, which there absolutely are. But there's a lot of women who just say, you know what, I'm done with you, get out, and I'm just going to raise these kids and then collect a check from the government. It's not all of them. But there are incentives to do that. And that is in large part, I think, because of the welfare state. If a woman didn't have that opportunity, that option, she might say, oh, you know what, maybe I need to stick around and to have him stick around and help to provide for our family. And that would be better for the kids. Because here's the thing, people are selfish, right? People are selfish. And that's the problem with these kids is that you get selfish parents. The dads who leave are selfish, but the mothers who kick the father out because of whatever reason, right? That, they're also selfish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you have children in a marriage, that's completely different than just being, husband and wife. I mean, you now have a team inside of your house
Right.
that you have to take care of. And I think, too, kids are so impacted by fatherless homes. I mean, it really impacts your fear of abandonment.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you're just afraid that anybody that you meet in your life is going to leave you, just like your parent did.
Right.
You don't trust as easily. You can't get close to people as easily. Intimacy is hard because you're like, I just can't open up to this person. I'm afraid they're going to hurt me like my parent did. So it affects a kid for their whole life.
Absolutely, it does. And it's the thing. It's not politically correct, right? It's not politically correct. You can bash fathers all day long, call them deadbeat dads, tell these fathers who won't stand up, like we need a man who can stand up and all that stuff. But don't you dare say a word about single mothers. Right? Don't you dare, because they are all saints and they are all sinless, and none of them have ever done anything wrong in their lives. They are all angelic heroes. I mean, we hear this in the media all the time about how brave the single mothers are, and like nobody has the nuts to kick them in the junk and say, woman up and get yourself a man.
That's why I'm thinking too, we need to say motherless and fatherless homes are the cause of this problem, or absent parents in general. Even if a mother is at the home and she's a single mom, it doesn't necessarily mean she's with her kids all the time.
That's true.
You just let them go play while she's an e-girl on OnlyFans.
Yeah, there is that.
What kind of mothering is that?
And now we have to deal with this new scenario where you've got these moms, and I see this all the time, where you've got these moms who are on OnlyFans. Yeah. And then the kids are in school and the photos leak. Yeah. And the kids get bullied.
How embarrassing.
I mean, here's the thing. This is a new problem.
Yes.
Okay. It's not like there's some historic precedent, right? Because I mean, how do I say this without going into rated R territory? But I mean, there's always been the old joke, like your mom's a hoe, right?
Right.
And a lot of times it wasn't true, but sometimes
she was with the milkman.
Yeah,
while you're at
your
school.
mom's the town bicycle. Everybody's had a ride, right? Right. But the idea is behind this is that it was limited to personal interactions with maybe they heard she was sneaking guys in the side of the house or the milkman or whatever. But now we're talking about your mother being seen by millions of people. Okay.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of the mothers who react to this who have been confronted about it. Like their kids get bullied and they're like, they can cry in a Ferrari. You know what I mean? Like the money is going to make up for the mental health. You know what I'm saying?
In
right?
terms of the kids,
does the money actually make up for it, Stephanie?
No, not for the kid. For the mother, sure, she'll be just fine and at peace with what she's doing.
Is there any amount of money, that can buy enough therapy to deal with a mother who goes on OnlyFans, has children who are traumatized by the fact that they're bullied in school because the kids are confronting them with their mother's photographs or videos? Is there any amount of therapy? How much do you have to make to sort of deal with that on a therapy position? How much would it cost therapy-wise as an expert, Stephanie?
I mean, infinite amount of money. Seriously, there's no therapy that can help that. You get the Richie Rich type of situation. I mean, you can have the richest kids in the world and they can be the loneliest kids in the world. I mean, I have definitely seen that myself when I used to babysit. The parents would just be off doing their business stuff, socializing, just living that high life. And the kids are stuck at home and they don't have that interaction with their parents. There's no amount of money that can replace a connection with your family.
Yeah, it's just it's a tricky subject because it's not a politically correct subject, and there's a lot of girl power, girl boss, sentiment out there where it's again, you can't dare criticize the modern woman in American society because they are all blameless and floating above us, right? That's why I always say that equality for women in the United States would be a step down.
Yeah, probably so. We would miss out.
Right.
Exactly. I want the opportunity to be able to stay at home. That's a really nice luxury to me.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is that you're staying at home and you're you have a vocation, right?
I do work because I choose to.
Right. But but you contribute positively and meaningfully to society, right? And you're one of the few therapists who actually, does something useful. But
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're going to have Alexandra Hudson on the show today. She is the author of The Soul of Civility. She thinks she's got the solution to the divide that we have in this country. And what are your thoughts on this?
Because back in my Ron Paul days, back in 2012, my goodness, I used to debate and yell at any person that even disagreed with Ron Paul one bit.
Yes.
I made them all my enemies, and I lost a lot of friends. And so then I started to learn to become kind and to listen. And now I have friends again.
Well, that's good. Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to talk to Alexandra Hudson when we get back on the Wake Up America show. Don't go away. Make sure you stick around. Click that like button and subscribe. If you're not chatting in the comment section right now, you're missing out on the opportunity to make some friends because there's a lot of cool people over in the chat section. We'll go check it out. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Donald Trump and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Hello, my name is Kelvin. Welcome to Frenchy Bush. This is my Didi's website. Now I've decided to speak to you with my real voice for the first time ever to tell you about how cool Frenchy Bush is. But I've decided that this is the perfect opportunity to share with you. Frenchy Bush is a good website. You should follow us on socials. If you like Frenchies or any kind of bulldogs, me and my new brother George are going to try to make your life more fun.
Hello, I'm George. My neck isn't really thick yet, but it will be. We are so glad you're here. Please ignore my floating eyeball. It helps me spot predators who might be approaching from the sides.
Didi made Frenchy bullshit to review things that he uses on me and my brother to tell you if it's good or bullshit. Take this collar, for example. Didi really likes it. Didi said it's really handy because us Frenchies got thick necks. Need something really tough. People think Frenchies are little, but if you look at us from below, you can see we are really pretty buff. Beefcake, yes. Look at my creamy thighs and chest. Yes, you like that?
Big brother, please focus.
Frenchy Bush. Please follow us for more great content and read the Frenchy Bush blog for more fun and cool stuff.
I'm a public defender.
I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every $1 we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados Potatoes, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com.
About what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Benny.
Okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
I don't think he's ready for another question there. Good morning. Hey, how are you doing? I'm Austin Peterson. Happy Friday. Hope you're in a good mood today. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. All 350,000 of you there. It's nice to see y'all.
The number.
Yeah,
Don't be nervous.
we're glad to be here. Thanks so much for tuning into the Wake Up America show on Freedom Family Friday. I'm Austin Peterson. I'm here with my lovely wife, Stephanie Peterson. How about that? Give her a like and a... We've got a great show for you today. We've been talking a little bit about loneliness. One of the big challenges that we have in this society is how are we going to be able to to bridge the divide? Well, my next guest thinks that she's got a great response to that. Her new book is called The Soul of Civility, Timeless Principles to Heal Society and Ourselves. Her name is Alexandra Hudson, and she's joining us live right now. Good morning, Alexandra. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Good morning, Austin. Great to be here.
Thanks so much for coming on, Alexandra. So we've been talking a little bit this morning about the problems that people face when it comes to loneliness, when it comes to the challenges of fatherlessness in our society. And when I was reading the description about your new book, you were talking about, how can we sort of bridge the partisan divide here in the United States? That's another one, the polarization. And you had a really exceedingly simple solution for this, which I thought was fascinating. Would you like to share it?
Yes, you're right, Austin, that we often hear today how polarized, how divided we are, especially from elites in our society that lament that we've, fallen from this golden age of unity and civility and decency. And yet I tell an undertold story of the porching revolution that's happening in our country right now at the local, at the grassroots level. And I tell the story of when I moved from a very divided Washington, D.C. I was working in government there, came away very disillusioned, very dispirited about the state of our body politic, and fled Washington to what I thought were the bucolic, rolling hills of the American Midwest, where my husband's from. And one of the first people I met, her name was Joanna Taft. She came up to me one day and said, "Hi, I'm Joanna Taft. Would you like to porch with me?" She said. And I'd never heard the word porching used as a verb before.
Yeah, I never heard it.
And so that afternoon, my husband and I went to her home, and she had this gorgeous, turn of the century, great big Victorian and home with a great big veranda. And what I learned is that her front porch was her platform to stage this subtle but powerful revolution that is afoot in our country right now. She intentionally curates people across division, across ethnic, political, geographic divides at the local level, and invites them into this kind of quasi-public space. And that's a social statement that she's making. Instead of withdrawing to the back patio or within an air-conditioned living room, we're so isolated these days in just how we live our lives, going from house to car to office and back again. that she's staging this revolution and intentionally putting people who differ into proximity with one another and giving them an opportunity just to inhabit the same space, to develop trust and friendship that is the foundation of unity and of friendship that we need so desperately in these lonely and in these divided times. So in my piece in USA Today, I tell this story of the porching revolution afoot that is an undertold story of hope that I think is that we can all learn from, because we can all have that disposition of porching, that disposition of civility, that we don't need a porch to do that. We can welcome people into our lives. We can see our individual micro actions as tools to bridge these divides and to be welcoming and hospitable, to making the stranger a friend, making the outsider an insider. So it's exciting and it's hopeful, but it's subtle. And so I was grateful to give these unsung heroes like Joanna across the country the dap that they are long overdue.
I love that. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. We're glad to have you here. If you're just tuning in today for the very first time and you're enjoying the content that you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the channel that you're watching us on this morning. We're very excited to be featured on Rumble today. We've got 350 people watching us live right now. It's like a huge auditorium full of people. And it keeps going up. I'm glad to have my lovely, beautiful, smoking hot, redheaded libertarian wife, Stephanie, here joining us here for Family Friday. And we like to talk about topics like these because, this is the kind of thing people need to hear, isn't it, Steph?
Interesting. Yes, I actually have a question.
Go ahead,
So
yeah.
I love this idea of porching. So once you're on the porch, how do you conduct yourself? Because conversations can go so wrong so fast. And people can get so defensive when you bring up any political topic.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you navigate that?
It's a great question. I think you're absolutely right, Stephanie, that we use these we're too quick to essentialize and reduce people to one aspect of who they are. And it seems like politics has seeped into every aspect of our lives. In my forthcoming book, The Soul of Civility, Timeless Principles to Heal Society and Ourselves, coming out next month, October 10th with St. Martin's Press, I talk about my final chapter, how we've misplaced our meaning in politics and we've allowed temporal ends, political ends to become our ultimate source of identity, as things like civil society, community, faith, these traditional touchstones of meaning in people's lives have been declining in recent decades. And people have instead turned to public issues and politics as their sources of meaning. So when we disagree on these issues, it's no longer just a disagreeing of the minds. It's like, you're a bad person and I feel physically and emotionally, psychologically, like I'm under threat, like my identity is under assault because we differ on this issue. And how we're overdoing politics. We've allowed politics to matter too much, and we're overdoing democracy and we're undermining democracy as a result. So what's beautiful about the porch, to answer your question, it's a relative, not necessarily apolitical. Politics does sometimes creep into the porch, but what's nice is that it's not a solely political place. It's a place where you can get to know people at just the human level, and they're not walking in with these preconceived notions of who the other is or even who the self is. You're not just your ethnicity or your religion or your politics or where you live or all these other touchstones of how we derive our identity, that you can just get to know someone on a basic friendship level. We're just people on Joanna's porch. And that allows these seeds of trust and friendship to germinate and to flourish. And it's, in my opinion, it's when you have those seeds of friendship that blossom that you can then move forward to have the more controversial, difficult to grapple with conversations, because you're not going to assume the worst about someone, that just because they have a differing opinion on you, they're not automatically a bad person, that you need that baseline of trust and basic affection to have those essential conversations of our day. There are many important conversations to have. The problem is we're not doing them well. We're not doing justice to our public discourse, to these important issues, because we're all running on empty, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. We're allowing politics to take up too much of our consciousness, and the porching revolution is helping us, reclaim what we can control and how we can each be a part of healing our broken world through one afternoon on the porch or on the stoop, or even just coffee with a friend at a time. Like, you don't need a porch to have this disposition, the disposition of the porching revolution, the disposition of civility, as I talk about in my book.
So you're saying at first, don't jump right into the political chatter, maybe talk more about your personal lives first, and then wait until trust is built and then be like, okay, now we can talk about these tougher topics.
For Trump, well, I hate you. Let's die. If you so, just one pause for just a moment. Our friend Camelia over in the live stream makes a really good point when she said that in-person conversations are much less likely to go south. And Levin214 agreed on the Rumble chat, said, absolutely, Camelia, most of us aren't as brave face-to-face as we are behind a keyboard. That makes good sense there. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. We're glad to have you here. It's nice to have such a big audience. We're not used to that. So click like and subscribe to the Wake Up America show and join us every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. We are a news, talk, and political talk show, but on Fridays, we usually like to lighten things up and talk about a little bit more personal or interpersonal topics like the ones that you're hearing right now. I do see that the chat is interested in talking about some political topics. We'll try and get to those. And at 8 a.m. this morning, we do have our friend Kellyanna Brooking, who's going to talk about the Trump mugshot as Generation Z. She thinks it's cringe. So we'll talk about that. And I saw somebody else said that James O'Keefe dropped a new video, but I just saw it this morning and it's 20 minutes long. So we're not going to be able to get through that. Sorry. I'm speaking to right now to Alexandra Hudson, who is joining us as a suggested guest from the Young Voices Foundation, which always highlights people who have interesting points of view. And Alexandra Hudson's new book is The Soul of Civility, Timeless Principles to Heal Society and Ourselves. Now, you kind of draw on some classical philosophers like Epictetus, as well as modern philosophers like Martin Luther King Jr., as well as your own experience working in the federal government. But here's the thing, Alexandra, when you think about, everybody like has respect for those names and faces. But I guess this is a statement with a question. I mean, how did we get to this point now where we are so tribalized and divided and, rather than sitting out on our front porches, we all go to it and hide in our houses or our back porches? Do you think that it's a consequence of the politics as it is, or is it a chicken and egg scenario? One caused the other. Which one caused which? You know what I mean?
It's a great question, Austin. I like to look at history as both caution and comfort. So history, it's easy for people to say today and feel today like we're in the worst, most divided moment in American public life. And it's true, division is a problem. Otherwise, I wouldn't have written this book. But what I enjoyed learning was that this is not a new problem. This is actually a timeless problem, one that we've been grappling with since we've been around as a species, because we are deeply social. We long for relationship and community. We become fully human. We reach our potential in relationship with others. And yet we're also defined by self-love, morally and biologically. And those two facets of who we are, social and yet defined by self-love, those are in tension. And that is why community and relationship and civilization itself will always be fragile. It's never a foregone conclusion. So the human condition is the human condition across time and across place. And so it was great. I really enjoyed learning from handbooks from ancient Egypt to ancient Rome to in early American history, and seeing the continuities that are speaking to the same, anxieties and the same promise of how to do life together across difference, which is what my book explores. To your point, though, there are many things that make our current moment uniquely bad and different. Like, for example, they didn't have social media back to that 2,800 years ago BC. And that certainly, exacerbates some of the darker aspects of the human condition. Stephanie, I think you mentioned anonymity, right? That you're more like, or one of your users, one of your listeners mentioned that we're more likely to be vicious and cruel when we're not confronted with the personhood and dignity of the person on the other side of the screen, or when we have, when it's not attached to our reputation, the consequences of what we say. One essential distinction I make in my book is that we've confused civility and politeness, and how we have to disentangle these two terms in order to better do public life together now and to improve our public discourse. So often people conflate these two terms, but I say we have to distinguish them. I say politeness is etiquette, it's manners, it's a technique, it's behavioral, whereas civility is a disposition of the heart. It's inherently moral. It's a way of seeing our fellow citizens, our fellow human beings, as our moral equals and worthy of respect in light of that, regardless of how deeply we disagree or how deeply we differ on different issues of the day. And key, sometimes actually respecting others, being civil to someone else, requires being impolite. It requires breaking these rules of etiquette, talking about religion and politics. Like, we have to talk about these important things of the day in order to flourish across difference. We have to debate. That's actually a form of respecting someone, not just papering over, polishing over difference and sweeping it under the rug. So I think making this distinction, disentangling civility and politeness, is essential to helping us think more about what we want out of our public life and how we can do life, how we can flourish across difference better.
I like that a lot.
Question.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
How do you debate in a healthy way? Because I think a lot of us, we do engage in debate, but it goes way wrong too fast. So how would you say you can engage in a healthy, meaningful debate?
And before you answer that, though, Alexander, hold off on just 1 second. We do have to say thank you to L Dubs. He just dropped $50 in the tip jar.
Much.
Dang, L Dubs. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. That was quite civil of you, wasn't it?
Yes.
Damn decent of you. I don't know. Civil, quite civil and polite. No, wait, we can't use those terms interchangeably anymore. So what was your question there, Stephanie?
How do you have a healthy debate? How can you have a debate that does not go wrong?
It's a great and essential question, Stephanie, that you have to keep. Civility is about personhood. It's about the dignity, the human dignity of the other that you're interacting with. And so it means seeing them in the fullness of who they are, and not just saying, oh my gosh, you are pro-life, you are pro-choice, you have one opinion on this one issue, or you voted this one way, and therefore you are a bad person. We're so quick to make these shortcuts psychologically, that to reduce someone to one aspect of who they are, as opposed to seeing the part in light of the whole. Even the mistake that someone may have made in light of the dignity and personhood and the value they have by virtue of just being human. And that is essential, in our in-person interactions, but especially online as well, and in our digitally mediated world where where our personhood is diminished to some extent. We're interacting virtually now, but it's still not the same as if I were in the room with you and we were having this conversation together. There are a million little micro pieces of information and communication and body language that are missed by not being in the same room, and phone, email, text, all of these social media, all of these ways that we're digitally intermediated. It's easy to forget the fullness and richness and beauty of the dignity and personhood of the other, even those that we disagree with. And that's what civility is about. It's about, what do we owe ourselves and one another by virtue of our common humanity, and what does that look like in practice?
Love it. Alexander Hudson, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners before we let you go?
I created $700 worth of gifts, free gifts, to anyone who pre-orders my book. So maybe we can get you that link. It's alexandraohudson.com/pre-order, and it's on my homepage as well. But so please consider pre-ordering the book and supporting this project. And I'd love to give you these gifts as a thank you. But thanks to you, Austin and Stephanie, for having me on this morning. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks very much.
I can't pass up free gifts.
Yeah, we love it. There you go. We'll drop the link over there on Rumble for you as well, so people can head over there. Alexandra Hudson, thank you very much for your time today. Congratulations on the publications of your book, and we look forward to hopefully having you back on the Wake Up America show again some other time.
Thanks so much. Great to be with you.
Thanks very much there. What did you think of Alexandra Hudson?
She was so interesting.
Send us a text at 573-319-1586. Again, you can text the show today at 573-319-1586. We'd love to hear from you. We're very excited to see 394 people watching right now. The highest amount of people who have watched our show ever happening right now. We're grateful to have you here. If this is your first time tuning into the Wake Up America show and you like the content that you see today, make sure that you subscribe to the channel before you leave today. We'd be glad to have you. Every Monday through Friday, the Wake Up America show streams live from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. So make sure you set an appointment and join us. It's a great way to start the day, as well as to just stay informed about what's going on. Did you want to comment on Alexandra's interview there?
Yeah, I really, really liked it. And it actually reminded me of something that I did many years ago. I think around like 2015, 16. I started a Socrates Cafe.
Oh, yes.
My community in Michigan. And basically what it was, it's based on a book called Socrates Cafe. The author's name escapes me. But basically, you're supposed to gather with a group of people and you're supposed to just ask questions of each other using the Socratic method. So basically, you have to dig deeper and deeper and keep asking why, why. So you basically say, like, what is truth? Okay, truth is this. Okay, why is it that way? Why is it that way? And you just go deeper and deeper and get to know each other's views. And the Socrates Cafe, it would go political sometimes.
Of course.
And I think that actually ended up in the group ending.
Oh, really?
It got kind of politically divided.
It fell apart, huh?
Yeah, we weren't having as good of conversations as we did at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They all just went political and then nobody wanted to dive in deeper anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's very similar to her porching that she's talking to.
I mean, we have that ability, right? You know, we've got a front porch swing, right? We can sit out on our front porch a little bit, and usually the people who walk by are our neighbors who we already know, and we probably have a little better connection to the neighbors who live in the Bridlesburg community than maybe on average and things like that. But we struggle for the fact that my dog Calvin is antisocial with other dogs, and he loves people, so he doesn't attack people, but it almost feels like you're attacking, and so especially the black people in our neighborhood are terrified of him. Calvin, he's like a little French bulldog, but he runs at you. He looks like a pit bull from far away. It looks like a pit bull is running at you, but he's not a pit bull. He's just a French bulldog. So anyways, that's the one complication, is that Calvin will be like, but he's not attacking you. He wants to just lick you to death.
And that's the one thing that I learned moving here to Missouri, is how people can be so welcoming and kind. Because in Michigan, I was never friends with my neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
We were more, I guess, we would get angry at our neighbors and we would criticize them. And the only time we would talk to them is if we were complaining about something that they were doing. So I'm not used to just sitting and having nice, happy conversation.
Yes. Well, speaking of happy conversations, they're over now. It's time for us to get back to politics. I wanted to get your reaction, because we didn't really get to see it. I wanted to get your reaction to the Mitch McConnell freezing up video, because this was the topic of the show yesterday, the gerontocracy, how we're ruled by people like this. But when you watch something like this, I mean, you've worked in a hospital.
Yes.
You've seen this before.
I've seen stroke patients before.
I mean, it looks like a stroke, doesn't it?
Usually, yeah. If you stop talking, and then if you start to lose control of your face muscles.
All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Jenny.
It looks like
she handled that really well.
Yeah. It looks like a granddaughter talking to her grandfather. Like, are you okay, Papa?
Right. We're going to need a minute. But then it's then she continues on. She's like,
okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
Now, I love it how she's blaming the audience for his
somebody
lack of
else has a question. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because she's like, speak up, as if people are not talking loud enough.
So everybody was talking about this yesterday, and they were asking about whether or not there should be age limits for office, at some point. Because we have age limits to be able to run for office, right? So there's already, we already have ageism.
Minimum, but not maximum.
You can't be a U.S. senator. I think it's 35 for senator. I'm not entirely certain. There's 30 or 35 to be a senator. I'm not 100% on that. Yeah. But for, I think, representative, it's 30 or 28. I'm not. I used to have this memorized, but I don't right now. Off the top of my head. I'm having a Mitch McConnell moment.
You okay? You okay?
Everybody else has any questions?
Everyone, you can ask questions, but please speak up. Okay, he just can't hear you. It's not that he can't speak to you. He just can't hear you.
I mean, I hate to make fun of the elderly, but these people cause so many problems for us here in the United States. It's at what point do you retire, right? It's they just can't let go of power. And specifically, and Camelia talked about it yesterday too, specifically, it's a lot of the people who are in leadership, right? So, for example, Senator Dianne Feinstein, she looks like a corpse in a chair. She can't even walk.
is like closed, and then she's in a wheelchair.
Yes, it's cringe, and it's like, but here's the thing: these people are calling the shots, and it's like what I was saying yesterday to Camelia. It's like the president of the United States has the power to fire nuclear missiles.
Yes,
right. He has the power to fire nuclear missiles. Like he could kill millions of people, and he has no idea what's going on. I mean, how have we not brought up Joe Biden here, right? So.
Well, that's the funny thing is Joe Biden was commenting on McConnell and, about how he's acting. And Joe Biden's like, I think he's just fine. But yet Joe Biden has had brain aneurysms himself. So it's like, are you going to let a man who has his own brain injuries talk about another man who has
exactly yeah
who's a good judge
people
here?
Who live in glass houses, right? They shouldn't be throwing stones. I don't know if I can get this video to play big enough for people to be able to see it here, but I want to show this video that's kind of going viral that I shared yesterday. Hold on one sec. It's going to be a little small, but we'll see.
They claim that the medical professionals checked out McConnell and they said he's just fine.
The category for this final: animals. This slow-moving reptile raced against the hare in the famous book, The Tortoise and the Hare.
Isn't that a tortoise? Is it a turtle?
Look at Mitch. He's frozen.
He's just saying, can you repeat the question? I can't hear you.
Yes. All right, we're going to need a minute here.
Repeat the question. Only speak up this time.
Yikes. That is very cringe.
Seriously, a Jeopardy question?
It must have been, right? So they pulled the Jeopardy question and then swapped it out for Mitch McConnell there. So
second guessing my answer. I want to say tortoise.
It is tortoise. Yes. Yeah.
Like maybe it's turtle.
Yeah. No, it's tortoise. Right. All right. So we're going to speak to Kellyanna Brooking coming up here in about 5 minutes. She's a member of Generation Z, and she says that the Trump mugshot, well, it was something other than based or red pill.
I hate when Republicans act surprised that Gen Zers don't like Trump. I can think of many reasons, but his mugshot sure as hell isn't going to help. The GOP has been asleep for so long and then act surprised when we get called out or Gen Z doesn't like us. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that I love Trump and that I think he's the best option for 2024 because that's just not true. But I'm also not going to sit here and say that I hate him and completely condemn him because his administration did have America thriving and our economy was top tier. The Republican Party needs to stop putting Trump on this weird pedestal, needs to stop endorsing his mugshot, and needs to also stop slipping all the weird and sketchy things he's done underneath the rug. 2016 Trump was amazing and great, 2020 Trump unfortunately lost, and 2024 Trump has absolutely no chance of beating the Democrats. It's time that we as a Republican Party gets on the same page and has one candidate that truly is uniting and speaks for we the people.
There we go. That's a spicy take for a young Republican there.
Good.
Yeah, we're going to go get Kellyanna Brooking when we get back from the commercial break. Don't leave. Stick around. We'll be right back with Kellyanna Brooking, the one who said that. We'll ask her some questions about that when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here, and we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, What was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
George. Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1. You can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself, or me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2. Most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3. You're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me Pops build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell! This commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, Rise in Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. Happy Friday. It's the day before Labor Day weekend, so hope you all enjoy the upcoming 3-day weekend. We know we are in the Peterson household. We're definitely going to take a few days off, so make sure that you catch us back on the Freedom Watch starting Tuesday morning. So we will be off on Monday, but we go back to normal, and then of course we are typically every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day. Wake up with the Wake Up America show, Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. I know for the 350 people who are watching us right now that like 300 of you are here for the very first time. So make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel so that you can get updates whenever we go live, and come back and join the Cantina crew and all of our friends every Monday through Friday. It's a great way to stick together, make some friends, and learn more about economic freedom and personal liberty. Since it's Friday, that means, of course, that it's Family Friday, and the lovely Stephanie Peterson is joining us in studio.
Good morning. Having so much fun.
We're having a great day today. My smoking hot redheaded libertarian wife joining us here. She joins us every Friday on the show. It's a great one. But today we've got a new guest for you, making her very first appearance on the show. We're very excited for Kellyanna Brooking. She's the host of A Few Words, and well, she's got a few words for you today. Good morning, Kellyanna. I know you're on the West Coast, so thanks for getting up very early for us.
Good morning. No problem. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So you caught my attention, Kellyanna, when you did your video in the car talking about Donald Trump's mugshot. And I'm specifically interested in this as the Generation Z angle? Because I read a lot of polling that says, young people, they typically tend to vote Democrat, but some polls have said that Generation Z is more based in red pilled, and some of them might actually vote Republican. But you specifically zeroed in on this from the Trump mugshot angle, which you think is cringe. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. And I think you're right about saying that most Gen Zers are Democrat, and I'm absolutely not a Democrat. A lot of people misinterpreted my video and basically anything I say, especially on Twitter. I can post "Have a great day" with a blue heart, and sometimes people will find a way to pick that I used a blue heart instead of a red heart and call me a rhino. So it's just, any media, anything social media, it's so annoying. But anyways, back to the mugshot. Yeah, I stand by what I said. I think that the mugshot is absolutely cringe, and him trying to sell it as merch. I totally get what he's doing because he is smart. He's a businessman. He knows what he's doing, and appealing and trying to gas up his mugshot in this trendy way is going to get the based alpha crowd that he's trying to appeal to. And his whole thing is that he's not surrendering, but the whole point how we got the mugshot in the first place is because he surrendered. And I just think that propping up the mugshot in this way where we're trying to compare him to old rappers is really not the way to get Gen Z attention.
It's interesting because you would think that would be that young people would find that to be cool, right? But some of the takes that I've seen from people on the right have been kind of cringe. Like, this is going to help him with the black vote, which
So
I'm not sure that's the right way to go. I don't know.
no, that's just like a boomer thing to say. I think that's really out of touch because and I do understand the thought process behind comparing him, that you have to do something so legendary and out of the realm to have your mugshot taken. Like, it's iconic, it's a badge of honor. I understand because there are cool people who've had their mugshot taken, but trying to compare a politician to rappers is absolutely not going to gain Gen Z attraction. It just seems so out of touch and that you don't really know what you're talking about.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. We're glad to have you here. I'm joined by my wife, Stephanie Peterson, here in studio. Make sure you click like and subscribe to the channel that you're watching right now so you can get more content just like this when we go live every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. But it's 6:04 a.m. over on the West Coast, which is where our guest, Kellyanna Brooking, is joining us from right now. And also Daniela, who's also on the West Coast, is going to be joining us here in 30 minutes. But we're talking to Kellyanna Brooking about where the Generation Z vote is going to be and whether or not Donald Trump's mugshot was a win for him or a loss. So the question is, will Donald Trump be able to sort of expand his vote totals? Because the problem, of course, is, Kellyanna, is that the Trump camp official says that the last election was stolen, that the problem wasn't that they turned off voters and that people turned away from him. He got fewer votes. The problem was that the election was stolen. Do you think young people buy that?
I don't hate Trump at all. I think that his administration did amazing things, and I think on a policy level he was amazing. However, I don't think that he is going to get any new voters than he did last time, and polls have been showing that he cannot beat Biden. Is he better than Biden? Absolutely. Can he beat him and beat the Democrats for this coming election? Absolutely not. And I think that Gen Zers will refuse to believe that any Republican election could ever be stolen in the slightest bit. Was it? Yes. Is there always going to be some sort of election fraud in any type of election? Always. But Gen Z will not admit that.
That's interesting. Yeah. So what do you think, Steffi? I mean,
I actually have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think Trump could have posed in any different way to make his mugshot less cringe? Like, do you think he could have come out with just the most epic mugshot that would have gotten Gen Z very excited?
I think that just the mugshot, the whole idea in general is embarrassing, but I think that maybe if he did try to pose different and not look like he did something wrong in the picture, then that would maybe been cooler.
So maybe just like looked more cool smiling, maybe just had more charisma in the photo.
Maybe something just normal, not looking like, weird.
Not looking like angry, like you pulled up to the McDonald's drive-thru and they told you the McFlurry machine is broken again. Well, so I mean, you're being intellectually honest here, Kellyanne. I agree with you, and I feel the same way that you do. I don't hate Trump. I think that he was a good president, and that he did a good job, and that I would much prefer him to Joe Biden. But I share the same concerns with you that he's not going to be able to expand on his base. But we face a problem here, and I think that most people that in the chat probably agree with me. And I know that this is a controversial thing to say, but liberal white women, not white women, but liberal white women, hate him with every ounce of their being. And they are the ones, the soccer moms, the ones who live in the suburban white liberal soccer moms. They're going to go out of their way. They will crawl over broken glass to not vote for Donald Trump, to vote for someone against him. I mean, I think we need a less polarizing candidate.
Yeah.
You seem to agree, but who do you like in the Republican primary, Kellyanna?
You know, while watching the debate, I think that everybody did, a somewhat good job. I think that it was overall pretty organized. People did a good job. Who really stuck out to me was Nikki Haley. I think as of now, she's who I would want, but I'm honestly not going to jump on the bandwagon right now supporting a candidate 100%. I'm still going to watch how the other debates go and just see what comes out. And even though my opinions on Trump and other Republicans as well, I would have that any day over any Democrat.
What do you think of the young Vivek Ramaswamy?
I am not a fan of him at all. I think he's so this and the way he was trying to like smile and try to seem like relatable, just it really rubbed me the wrong way, and it seems like he was trying to be condescending. I get what he's trying to appeal to. If I were in that crowd, I would totally eat that up too. I totally understand what he's trying to do. Again, the based alpha always Trumper crowd, but I just really didn't like what he had to say, and I also think that the way that he answered the climate change question really is going to not gain Gen Z attraction as well. I do like that he's young.
Why do you think that?
Even though that Gen Z props up climate change in a way I disagree with, I think that's something I can agree with is that climate change is real, and there's ways we can combat it without saying that the earth is ending and we need to use paper straws and all of these crazy things. But the fact that he was just saying it's a hoax and it's not real in general, just kind of, I don't think that Gen Zers are going to like that at all.
Well, I hate to disappoint Gen Z because it is a hoax and it is fake.
The whole thing?
Yeah, it's all manufactured, right? So
isn't the world becoming warmer?
So there are some there are some studies that show that surface temperatures may be rising, but they don't necessarily prove that it's human caused.
Oh.
And even if that is all true, and Vivek even said this, even that if that were true, then carbon dioxide is plant food, and we're a greener planet than we were before, and that of course leads, and most people die from freezing to death, not from being too hot. So there could, if that were all true, in that scenario where the global warming people were correct, more people would actually live. 8%, I think, of people die from not having access to heat in the winter. But anyways, we can debate climate change global warming another time, because we'll definitely want to have you back. We're speaking to Kellyanna Brooking. She's the host of A Few Words, joining us bright and early from the West Coast, talking a little bit about the Republican primary and where Gen Z is when it comes to Republicans versus Democrats. So, I mean, how do you engage with your fellow Gen Zers when they come at you with some of these leftist ideals and views? I mean, how do you sort of debate in a way to defend conservative principles, which you claim to be?
Yeah, I think that not everything even needs to always be a debate. I think conversations can go a long way. And unfortunately, it's very difficult to find somebody that has opposite views of me that will actually have a conversation. Especially when people are always posting on Twitter and on social media. It's so important to listen to both sides, empathy, love, and then when they actually get an opportunity to have a conversation with somebody who has opposing views, it doesn't seem that way. And what I've noticed is that Republicans are a lot more willing to cave almost and talk to the other side and try to really truly understand where they're coming from and maybe get behind an idea or propose a different idea where we can get to the same place but just a different way. But people from the left will not negotiate or even just have a conversation with people from the right, unfortunately.
What do you think about funding for Ukraine?
I am America first, but I'm not America only. I think that we should help our allies. I don't think that sending taxpayer dollars to Ukraine is going to be beneficial for us at all.
Okay, interesting. Kellyanna Brooking. Kellyanna, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners before we let you go today?
I think we pretty much covered it all. I think that doing your own research and having your own opinions is really important. Think especially right now with all the GOP debates going on right now and, Trump's mugshot, I think that you don't always need to listen to every person in your own party, and it's great to form your own opinions.
I like that opinion.
so
Give her a round of applause. I like to hear that. That's what we're all about here. We're all about thinking for yourself here on the Wake Up America show. Kellyanna, where can people follow you online and learn more about your show?
Yes, so my Instagram and my YouTube are Kellyanna Brooking, and my Twitter is Kellyanna USA.
There you go, Kellyanna Brooking and Kellyanna USA.
I
Kellyanna,
just followed you on Twitter.
we just follow. Yeah, so we're following you now, and we expect great things from you, Kellyanna. Thanks so much for your time today. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much. What did you think of Kellyanna? Wasn't she good?
Such an interesting perspective because, I'm definitely not a Gen Zer. I'm a millennial, I guess.
Right.
So I really don't know what's important to these kids nowadays. I feel a little out of touch. I'm kind of old.
Yeah, I guess so. But you know what never gets old?
What? Gold? I was thinking of something so gold.
Yes, with Layer Capital, there would be no Wake Up America show, would there, Stephanie? They've invested in us and they've helped us to build the Wake Up America show to this point. Yes, viewers like you are a major part of it, but Lear Capital steps in to fill in the gaps. Yesterday, we got demonetized on YouTube, and when we get those checks from Lear Capital to sell gold and silver, we say to ourselves, good God bless Lear Capital for saving our butts, because it's an expensive show to run, and we do work very hard 5 days a week to bring you excellent news and political content. This basically is a two-person business. It's me and Stephanie, and we work hard to try and bring sponsors onto the show, especially ones that we think that you will really appreciate, which is why we love to work with Lear Capital. And they've got a really awesome special going on right now. I told you about this.
Me about it in the car, and I was really excited.
I know. We were thinking about getting some ourselves on this because they've got a $500 account credit going on right now for your first purchase of gold.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people who are interested in purchasing gold would love to hear this, man. Perk up your ears. Call them today if you want that $500 account credit, and they'll lock that deal in for you at 1-800-885 2175. You got to call them to get the deal.
Okay.
You can visit the website to get more information. They'll send you a gold and silver packet, and they don't spam you or harass you with lots of phone calls or anything like that.
I've gotten one phone call from them this entire time.
That's it, right.
Yes.
So if you want to learn more about how to invest in gold and silver, you can visit the website at learaustin.com. But if you want the $500 account credit, you got to call them to lock it in. You have to call it. Yeah, call them to get the $500 discount on your first gold buy. So 1-800-885-2175 is the phone number. That's again 1-800-885-2175. They'll look forward to your call, and again, they won't spam you all the time or drive you crazy with phone calls and things like that. So give them a call, 1-800-885-2175. Again, write it down, 1-800-885-2175. Call them today, get that $500 account credit. What do you say?
I mean, that is so cool.
That's
Seriously,
a good deal.
$500 can go a long way.
Absolutely. So thanks so much for that. All right. So what's next on the agenda? Are we gonna do the clown thing?
That's really interesting.
Okay.
Does anyone like clowns?
This is a weird story. This is such a weird story.
They're loved clowns.
Yeah, tell that story there.
Boy, so both of my grandparents passed away this past year, and basically my whole family, we were trying to go through the house and their belongings and see what they had. And my grandmother collected clowns, so she has this huge Ron Lee clown collection. And in this day and age, it is very hard to find people who like clowns.
Yeah, well,
they're kind of freaky.
Except for this professor who said
to contact this guy. And
maybe he would buy them from you. Here you are. I have a face paint fetish and convinced the cute girls in my classes to let me paint their faces. What the hell? Oh my God, bro. And
oh, hell no, man. What the man?
Whatever turns you on.
No, dude, is it professor?
I know, yeah, that's not cool how he did that. I mean, if he had a girlfriend and he's like, hey, girlfriend, let me paint your face.
No.
Turned on.
No, so he's a geography professor. So he didn't hide his clown fetish or the fact that he sometimes indulged his urges by recruiting students as subjects and then posted regularly about it on social media. He says,
is that a good idea?
He says, I have a face paint fetish and convinced the cute girls in my classes to let me paint their faces. Joseph Takash held jobs at two colleges and was on tenure track at a third before student journalists exposed his behavior. He submitted his resignation the day their story was published. He posted YouTube videos, he posted on forums, he posted lots of photos of his students wearing his face paint, came out proudly about how it was a fetish for him. Students would report him to campus police. People would complain online. He left Kent State University after pleading no contest to something different. It was a theft charge that involved entering his peers' offices without permission and taking their USB drives.
So he had some other issues going on,
Dude,
too.
why are they not checking these professors? Why are they not doing background checks on these people?
They said they actually did not check his social media before they hired him.
Yeah, so which
that's
is like
one of the problems.
very common now that they check social media, but like what is with the creeps in the positions, the teaching positions? You know what it is? It's just like positions like this, creeps are going to be attracted to these kinds of jobs. You know what I mean? Which is why
I can be close to the people that make me excited.
Right, which is why you have to have due diligence when you're doing things like when you have like those kinds of jobs. And then, it reminds me a little bit too of that kid Jaden that we spoke to yesterday, the Gadsden Flag Patriot kid, right? He even said that they were allowed at the school to have rainbow flags and
I remember saying that.
It's just total bullshit. I mean, sorry for the language here. It is Friday, but but does it surprise you at all that that's what it was like? Is that if you flew the rainbow flag there at that school, fine. You walk in with a "Don't Tread on Me" flag, and you're connected with slavery and racism.
Sure, if you had like a MAP, minor attracted person emblem on your bag, it would have been like, oh God.
Yeah. Oh, pedos, no problem. Yeah, no, we love it. All these creeps. Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, Johnny Rankins nailed it down. John Macy, but I think it's John Wayne Gacy. He was the guy who. Him and then somebody else inspired the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Did you ever see that movie?
I did. It was very gruesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was based on a true story.
Really?
John Wayne Gacy, his story is he would dress up like a clown.
Oh, so he liked the clown thing.
He did the clown thing, yeah. He had the clown fetish. And he would dress up like a clown and he would dress up like a clown and he would do kids' birthday parties.
Oh, was he wasn't the guy with the little clown on the bicycle. That wasn't that.
No, you're thinking of the movie Saw.
Okay.
But that was not based on a true story, but very funny. If you're just
so he'd go to birthday parties.
Yeah, if you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. We're glad to have you here. I'm here with my smoking hot redheaded libertarian wife, Steffi P. for Liberty. Good morning, Steffi.
Hello.
We're glad and grateful to have such a nice big audience today. We're not used to such a big audience. Rumble has really stepped up and featured us on their site today. They had us on the front page yesterday morning and now today. And that's why we are experiencing such an influx of new people, new names and faces. But we'd love to be able to capture you and grab you and make you stick around and indulge in all of your weird clown fetishes and reel you in. But the only way to do that, of course, is to click subscribe on the channel that you're watching at rumble.com/AP for Liberty. And I'm AP for Liberty everywhere. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Well, if you're looking to find me on Twitter or X, as they call it nowadays, then hit me up at AP, the number 4, AP for Liberty. And Stephanie, you are?
I am Steffi, STEFFI, for Liberty everywhere as well.
IP for Liberty, UP for Liberty, we all P for Liberty. Yes.
P out stars and stripes.
Very funny. So thanks so much for tuning in today. We're grateful and we're glad to have you here. So if you haven't already, make sure that you click like because that pushes out this message to more people so we can spread the ideas of economic freedom and personal liberty. Just a brief little update. We are going to be out on Monday. So don't look for us this coming Monday because we are going to take a nice 3-day weekend ourselves and enjoy a little staycation here in Jefferson City, Missouri, which is where we broadcast from and live with our 2 presidential French bulldogs, Calvin and George, and run our little small business. So Steffi, do you want to just explain briefly, because we got Daniela Pensac coming up here in a little bit less than 10 minutes. Do you want to explain kind of very briefly just like how the Wake Up America show works in conjunction with AP for Liberty shops? So sort of how our little small business works. And it's just you and me. We run the Wake Up America show and AP for Liberty shop.
It really does. I mean, you've purchased, all the cameras and all the equipment. Thankfully, Scott Fawn has helped to provide us with this beautiful studio that we're in today. So big kudos to him. But basically, the Wake Up America show started about a year ago.
Oh, yeah, we're coming up. This is going to be our 1-year anniversary.
Absolutely. And so you started it as a morning talk show, just so that you could talk about liberty, current events, politics, life, relationships, pretty much just anything that's relevant
Yeah,
today.
news, talk, and politics. And,
Yeah.
you know, we got demonetized on YouTube yesterday, which is why, or the day before yesterday, which is why we have brought all of our audience over to Rumble, and we're going to be doubling down on investing here. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, we rely on support not just from our sponsors like Lear Capital, but from people who make purchases at ap4libertyshop.com, like our delicious Founding Flavors coffee, which we just launched.
Yeah, so if you have not heard of our coffee just yet, then listen up. So we have an entire Founding Fathers themed coffee line. So far we have Jeffersonian Java, Adam's Patriotic Perk, Franklin's Electric Elixir, Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, that's our decaf coffee, and then we just added Thomas's Painkiller. And so we have single origin coffee. We also have light, medium, dark roast, blends, and we're hoping to add some more single origins very soon.
Yeah, so just so you know, like free shipping in the USA. So we are a premium roast coffee. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, that does seem a little bit more expensive than what I usually pay. But here's the thing. If you buy your coffee online, if you buy premium coffee online, we're actually a little bit cheaper when you figure in the shipping that other people do.
I've actually done the math, trust me.
Yeah, so try it back today. And here's the deal. It's just so you know, I'm navigating the site as we go here, that if you buy more than one bag, when you go to the website, make sure you click on the coffee bundles tab right there, because the coffee bundles tab is where you go and you can bundle up coffee. So if you buy more than one bag, then the savings add up.
So cool.
And some people they get a little bit confused about how to navigate the website, but when you click on click on that right there, you have to go down here and you see it says select variant. You have to click on that and open it up and choose whether you want ground or whole bean, right? So you click on ground if that's what you want, or whole bean, and then, you know, let's say we want Jeffersonian Java and Revolutionary Roast. I want them both to be ground, right? And then you add it up and you can see that the savings start to stack. So you buy 2 bags, you get 5% off. You get want 3 bags, right? Then you see I'm going to get the Lullaby ground, and then the savings add up 10%. 4 bags or more, 12% discount. So the savings really add up, and they've got great reviews. People love it. It's delicious. Check it out at ap4libertyshop.com and check out what else we have over there. Stephanie came up with this cute little Tiny Patriots collection.
So it's kids' clothes.
I survived Roe versus Wade. I made that one, but a little onesie. Coolidge is my homeboy. Somebody specifically requested that one, but the Commander in Cute, that one somebody really loves.
Tiny Founding Fathers.
Little tiny Founding Fathers. Commander in Cute. They're all based at Little Betsy Ross, Tiny Patriots. You can see Commander in Cute shirts, bibs, all kinds of stuff for the cute little tiny patriots in your life, like little Jaden, 12-year-old Jaden. Right?
I know. We got to get Jaden a shirt.
Yeah,
we're going to send him a Don't Tread on Me shirt.
Yeah, we're going to send him a Don't Tread on Me shirt from ap4libertyshop.com. So make sure that you check that out, ap4libertyshop.com. All right. Well, we've got lots more great show to go. Daniela Pensack is coming up. Apparently, speaking of the 12-year-old Jaden, the governor of California came out and made a statement.
California? Or Colorado? I was like, oh my goodness, he did? Okay,
all right, Austin, get your brain working. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America Show with Daniela Pensack when we get back at wakeupAmericaShow.com. It was 1946. A battle was fought, not overseas, but right here on American soil. The Battle of Athens. An intense struggle against election fraud and for the rights promised by our founding fathers. Driven by the Second Amendment, ordinary citizens stood tall and fought back. Help us expose this momentous battle of integrity and bravery. Your support can make a difference. Visit givesendgo.com/bleedamerican and pledge your support, because we believe in the power of truth, the strength of unity, and the spirit of we the people. Let us not forget, we bleed American.
Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
State has now done that for new construction. They're trying to go after and regulate ceiling fans. I got to tell you, it's hot in Texas. We don't want to get rid of our ceiling fans. And now these idiots have come out and said, drink 2 beers a week. That's their guideline. Well, I got to tell you, if they want us to drink 2 beers a week, frankly, they can kiss my ass.
No, okay. Senator, I brought a beer to drink with you. I'll drink this non-alcoholic beer with you because I'm not allowed to drink on camera, but I'll have a sip in the meantime.
Look, I got to say,
so
have you ever seen a brand do more damage to itself than Bud Light, which single-handedly seemed to destroy themselves? So I'm glad you're not drinking a Bud Light. Personally,
He's not drinking a Bud Light. That's Senator Ted Cruz on there with my old friend Eric Bolling. I used to work with Eric at Fox News. Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson. We're glad to have you here. I'm here with my lovely wife on Freedom Family Friday. Stephanie Peterson is here. Steffi P for Liberty.
Good morning.
And we've upgraded Daniela Pensack, who's joining us right now, to Family Friday as well.
Yeah,
You're one of the fam.
Fam now.
That's right. We got to have Daniela for Liberty or something. Daniela, good morning. Thanks for getting up so early on the West Coast for us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me once again.
So, do you judge Ted Cruz's beer swilling interview to be based and red pilled or cringe?
That's a really good question. Yeah, as you can see, he was pretty much seething on Newsmax about this, about what the director of the National Institute of Alcoholism said. That's only 2 beers a week now is the recommendation. And my take on that, honestly, I know a lot of people on the left and right are dunking on Ted Cruz and making fun of him for this, especially on Twitter. But I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to say I side with him on this. I'm not gonna go as far as he is and comparing it to like the gas stove ban or anything like that. But I don't think it's quite a raging issue. But what I will say is that hyperfixating on like dietary restrictions, especially as something like, oh, how many beers a week can you drink? You know, a drink that humans have been drinking for beyond centuries, I think is a little silly simply because we're so individual in what we can consume. I mean, we're so individual in how we react to what we consume. You know, it's such a different experience for everyone. And I think drinking a little bit more than a couple beers a week isn't going to harm that many people. But that's just my take.
What's your drink of choice, Daniela?
Believe it or not, beer is not I'm not a big alcohol drinker, surprisingly. My drink of choice, yeah, I hope that's not like a huge surprise to anyone. But I don't know, my drink of choice, probably like a nice tall cold glass of milk or some nice ice water.
I love milk.
2% only.
Boo.
You are part of the family, girl. I am just like you.
So
I don't drink and I love milk.
For all the eligible bachelors out there, if you see Daniela Pensack at the bar, don't you dare buy her a drink of alcohol. And if you do buy her a drink, buy her a glass of milk. There you go. All right. They'll only have half and half for the White Russians. So she'll end up drinking half and half.
I guess so.
So they're responding to that. They give us this idea that we should only drink 2 beers a week. What is this? What is this job? I've never even heard, like director of alcoholism or something like that.
It's the director of National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, or the NIAAA. And this recommendation that they're proposing, it's mirroring the official recommendations proposed in Canada. So it's already has like a liberal undertone going on there, a little like the Trudeau touch, as I like to call it. But so naturally, and listen, I know cruise isn't a lot of people's favorite. You know, Cancun cruise, I understand, not everyone's favorite, but I believe what he's saying is right. You know, and what he said, excuse my language, his words, not mine, but people can kiss his ass about this, because I think once again, 2 beers a week, I just think that's a little silly. And this is coming from someone who's not an avid beer drinker. I just think it's a little hyper fixated, is all I got to say. Because listen, some people, they benefit a lot from eating a lot of meat. I know some people benefit from a completely vegetarian diet, but I don't think that, you know, restricting and telling every person a blanket statement, well, you should eat this much meat a week is just a very valid way of giving recommendations.
I just want our government to leave us the hell alone. They've done so much. The government has done so much damage when it comes to diets and dietary restrictions. And you should do this and you should do that. Right? They said, you know, don't eat eggs because it's too much cholesterol. Don't eat too much. Right? Eat lots of bread and carbs. Right? As the food pyramid years that we were raised with. Yes. Right? So I think the government just needs to get out of the business of telling people what's nutritious and what's not, to be, you know, in my opinion. But what's your thoughts on that? You can text the Wake Up America show today at 573-319-1586. We're glad to have you here with us today. It's Freedom Family Friday. Stephanie Peterson, my lovely wife, joining us here live in studio. She always comes in on Fridays, every Friday. And Daniela Pensack, her regular spot for Miss Pensack is Thursdays at 8 a.m. Central Time. But yesterday we had on Dr. Shiva, so we asked Daniela to come back today. So if you want to see Daniela, her regular spot is every Thursday at 8 a.m. Central Time. She's a field coordinator for Turning Point USA for their high school program and contributor here to the Wake Up America show, which we appreciate. So let's switch topics very briefly. Danielle, I don't know if you saw yesterday's show, but I actually got to interview the little 12-year-old Gadsden flag kid. and kind of a little hero there. Fought back and said, "Don't tread on me," and was successful. He won the right to have free speech and to have his Gadsden flag on his backpack in school. And apparently, the governor of Colorado weighed in as well. What did he say?
Yeah, the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis. By the way, if people don't know, very liberal guy. He's for like trans rights, abortion rights, the whole 9 yards. But surprisingly, he came out Wednesday night on CNN to discuss this issue, and he actually defended Jaden and his decision to display the flag on his backpack. And he
Wow.
said, look, the Gadsden flag is as iconic as the American flag. His words. And he said that a lot of people don't seem to, especially today, they don't seem to understand or know the history of it, that it's originally the symbol against British tyranny. And that's how we should remember it as. And even though it's been adopted by right-wing movements like the Tea Party and so forth, as though that's a bad thing. But he said that even though it's been adopted by right-wing movements, it's still an iconic flag. It's a symbol that should be respected. And he posed a very good point in saying, why is it that we can have LGBT flags, pride flags, BLM flags even, but having the Gadsden flag is a big deal. It shouldn't be, because it should be a uniting symbol, and free speech should be a uniting issue. It shouldn't be a divisive issue like this. And unfortunately, that's the way it is right now in the nation.
The backlash to this, though, was absolutely delicious. I mean, everybody was talking about it this week. This little 12-year-old kid, so smart, and didn't back down to tyranny. And the teacher in this situation was trying to tell him that it had connections to slavery or historic ties to slavery. These are the people teaching our kids, Daniela. Does it surprise you?
Do you know history, bro?
Yeah.
Well, as someone who does work for the high school program for Turning Point USA, unfortunately, even in the location I'm in Washington State, so it makes it even worse. But unfortunately, it is not surprising, and that teacher was obviously uneducated. You know, it's one thing to be ignorant about certain issues like that, but it's another thing, and I think this is happening a lot more, where teachers are aware of its real history, but they are twisting it in a way so as to brainwash kids to believe something that's completely different. And I think when it's done with intent to change the original meaning of symbols like that, or parts of American history, that's even much worse. And
Talk to
I don't
us
know.
about that a little more, Daniela. Yeah, like get into a little bit more details here. You know, so as someone who's a field coordinator for the high school students at Turning Point USA, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on like the state of like education, essentially, and how these kids are
Yeah.
doing. Go ahead, Stacey.
So if any of the high school students that you work with have had experiences like this, you know,
Well,
if they've,
yeah.
been turned down at school because of different views that they might have.
All the time. To answer Austin's question first, a lot of this is it's just reinterpreting history. A lot of us are familiar with the 1619 project and all that, where they're changing the original, just the perception of history and American history and Americanism, and that how it was built and how it's being maintained. They're changing the entire perception of it to be the root of America is the root of evil, essentially, and that it's run by enslavers. I think that's the most destructive part and nature of, especially in American history. And that's why when I do my work and my research, I try to make connections with history teachers, especially because those are the ones that are propagating these ideas or have the power to teach correct history. But as far as how it's happened to specific students, I all the time, like a lot of students are just afraid, especially in high school, where they feel very vulnerable. High school, they're less likely to really voice their opinion, not as much as in college, because it's a different situation, right? But yeah, a lot of students that even that I worked with that even just have a Christian background are essentially, you could say, persecuted in a way. I have a chapter that's in a public school, and when they had started their chapter meetings in the classrooms, teachers would just come in and like just stand outside and just stare in and try to kind of like pressure.
Wow.
They're not doing anything overtly because the kids aren't doing anything wrong. Essentially, they're just having a chapter meeting or a club meeting, basically in a classroom. But the teachers would try to intimidate them in a subtle way, where at some point the kids really did get intimidated. They were thinking of taking the chapter elsewhere, like outside the school after school hours. But thankfully I got in contact with another conservative teacher, stepped up, and he said, no, they can have my classroom. And he defended them against that. But basically, long story short, even if you're not doing anything wrong, even if you're not even necessarily voicing your opinions in the classroom during class hours, even outside of class hours, when you're trying to even discuss certain topics, the school administration, they'll basically like breathe down your throat. They'll try to intimidate you in any way that they can.
Doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, but it's kind of thing that that we're hearing about going on all over the country. Good morning. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, I'm your host, Austin Peterson. Happy Friday. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's September the 1st. We're glad to have you here. My lovely wife here joining me in the studio is Stephanie Peterson. Good morning, Stephanie. Glad to have you here. And of course, we are joined by the lovely Daniela Petsak. She is a field coordinator for Turning Point USA, their high school program. And she joins us typically every Thursday at 8 a.m. Central Time. You can follow her at Pensac Daniela on Twitter. And what are your other social platforms?
So I utilize Instagram quite a bit. It's official Daniela Pensac. On Instagram, on TikTok, it's also official Daniela Pensac. I need to be posting there more often. But if you like conspiracy theories, I have a lot of videos on topics on there as well.
That's good. That's good stuff. Yeah, I'm banned completely, entirely from TikTok. So demonetized on YouTube, banned from TikTok. I'm the bad boy of liberty, AP. Glad to have you here, Daniela. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us, Daniela, before we let you go today?
Not much, just two things. First of all, yes, please follow me on the socials that you have mentioned, especially on Twitter. It's at Pensac Daniela on Twitter. I'm sorry, yeah, at Pensac Daniela. My last name first, then my first name. But secondly, I wanted to reiterate on the story of the Gadsden flag kid and the governor, that it is so sad to see, that free speech isn't a uniting issue anymore. And I'm really glad that this governor stood up for that, because a lot of people and I'll be honest, on both sides of the aisle, the right and the left, they're not really getting that free speech should be a uniting issue. It should be an issue a principle that it shouldn't be an issue at all. It should be a principle that everyone can stand for. So I'm glad that this guy has an LGBT flag on his Twitter bio. So his stance on this was surprising, and I'm happy that he's done so.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Daniela Pensac, thank you very much for your time today, for joining us. And of course, since you're on the West Coast, it's 2 hours earlier there. Thank you very much for doing that. We appreciate you, Daniela. We'll miss you next week because you're going to be out, but we'll see you the week after that. So thanks for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. What do you think of Daniela Pensac? Send us a text at 573.
She's just so smart.
319-1586. Again, text lines are open. You can always let us know how you feel, or if you think there's a story we might be missing, at 573-319-1586. One of our listeners texted in this morning and said the only beer we should drink is Barks root beer. I say boo, says AP, because I'm not a root beer guy, but Stephanie she loves it.
I love all those fruity drinks and everything. But I think in terms of like medical professionals, the amount of alcohol you should have, I think it's like 2 drinks per day for women and 3 drinks per day for men. I believe that's.
I'm not sure.
Oops, sorry, my hair is
Gonna hit
covering my
that
microphone.
microphone. That's okay.
So when Daniela was talking, I was reminded of something that happened to me when I was in school.
What's that?
I was in 2nd grade, and my family, we had a skunk problem at our house, where these skunks were underneath our deck, and they were spraying their scent all over the place. And I brought my backpack to school, and my teacher put it outside of the window. I'm not joking, because it smelled like skunk. Yes. And so I was so embarrassed and upset. And I remember my mom complained and was like, how dare you put her school bag outside the window and all kinds of stuff. So yes, I had teachers judging me for smelling like skunk.
All right. Well, we're getting towards the end of the show. It's the last 10 minutes of the Wake Up America show. We've got like 250 people watching us on the show this morning, which we're grateful for. Thank you. We have to say thank you, big thank you to Rumble. We owe a lot of debts of gratitude to people this morning. We need to say thank you to. Thank you to Scott Fawn. We need to say thank you to Camellia. We need to say thank you to Robbie George. We need to say thank you to
Caleb
Vanderfelt's big time. We need to say thank you to Matt Unruh.
Andy Opperman.
And these are just ones we're thinking off of the top of our head.
Corey C.
Yeah. Diug. We need to say thank you to all of our friends who have been kind of the OG. Will Run Riot, Joni Rankin. Corey and Callie, Andy Opperman, right? Did we say the Unruhs, of course, Robin and Matt? We got them. JGJ, the Sunbergs. I mean, there are a lot of people who have helped contribute to the success of the Wake Up America show to where we're at. You know, there were, when we first started this show a year ago, I had left my job in radio and was very uncertain about the possibility of this show having commercial viability and success. So it is some like to see the twist of fate. Just 1 year from now, we're just exploding on Rumble, especially in light of getting demonetized on YouTube. It's just, I think it just really goes to show that for our small family-owned business here, our podcasting and merch website, that if you stick it through, perseverance, you can make your dreams come true. And Stephanie, you even tweeted something like that about perseverance and how I inspired you. Yes,
it's because after you lost your U.S. Senate campaign that I volunteered for, I was just so sad. My heart was shattered, and I was like, "This is it. This is the end. Nothing will be great
do you think you can tell the Reader's Digest version of our love story?
Oh, sure.
Tell them the Reader's Digest version, the short version, not the long version.
So back in 2016, I saw you debating for the Libertarian Party when you were running for president. Cool. He was super young. I was like, yay, let me follow him. Okay, then he was running for U.S. Senate. I was like, oh, yay, let me help him. So I became a volunteer. I came to Missouri because I lived in Michigan, and I was like helping out for the campaign and everything. And then he lost the campaign. I was so sad. Wah. And then after that, I just kept being a fan, kept following what Austin was doing, and then I would come out for reunions. We always like to have Liberty reunions with the fans, and became friends. And then it was the right time, the right place. Like, hey, let's get together. That sounds cool. And then we got together, and then we're like, hey, let's get married. That sounds cool. Yay.
Something like that, anyways.
That's what happened. That's a Liberty love story.
If I could be a little bit more romantic, I'll say that Stephanie was my number one volunteer during my Senate campaign. And, we weren't dating at the time. We were just friends. She had a boyfriend, right? And I had, girlfriends. And then after the campaign was over, she and her boyfriend had split up. And we had a conversation about each other and sort of like intentions towards one another and how we would be able to stay in each other's lives. And for me, there was a come to Jesus moment, if you will, or come to Hashem, right, for the Jews. A come to Jesus moment where I realized that this is the woman, Austin, who has not only said, right, that she loves you more than anyone ever. This is a woman who has demonstrated that she loves you more than any woman who has ever loved you in your life, up to and even including your mother. And I thought to myself, I remember thinking to myself, Austin, you would be the biggest idiot in the world if you let her go and you did not have a relationship with this woman and ultimately marry her, which is of course what I did. And it was the smartest decision I have ever made. Stephanie, of course, when I've had difficult times, and I can tell you that my career is very tumultuous, right? Doing what I'm doing right now is extremely risky. And there are days when we don't make any sales at AP for Liberty Shop. And there are days when we have very few watchers and listeners of the Wake Up America show. I mean, not now because it's been, an exciting week. But there have been times when, I really get worried about the future for our family and the risks that I've taken with our family. But whenever that, I have gotten underwater and there's too much work to do for this show than I could possibly do, making social media posts and keeping up with, sending out packages to supporters and things, Stephanie has unquestioningly stepped up in every way to help make this happen. So, of course, nobody other than myself has had as much to do with the success of this show than my wife, Stephanie Peterson, who I love dearly and I'm grateful for, in celebration of the 1-year anniversary of the Wake Up America show. And so now to see all of this success, and I hope that we will see you again. Come back next week and join us. We'll be back on Tuesday, day off on Monday, but then we'll stick to our regular schedule of Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central. I'll tell you, just on a personal note, we wake up in the morning, 4 a.m., first alarm goes off, 4:30, we're out of bed. And every day it hurts and every day it sucks. And some days there's not a lot of rewards for it. Yes. But when we see the numbers now as we are, and so many friends who have supported us over the last year to help us get beyond the gap, people like Edie Vogel, she gave us $500 so that I could afford to buy a lens for the camera, because the lenses for the cameras cost $1,000. The cameras cost $1,000, right? The lights cost $500 or $200 or $300. And of course, microphones microphones $700. So all of those things come from the contributions that the Wake Up America show supporters and friends, many of whom are fellow Missourians as well. And we had a big event a couple weeks ago where we all went canoeing together, which was nice. We're going to do the same thing again next year for all the new friends of the show. Hopefully
we're
we'll
going to
come.
have like 300 people there next year.
Yeah, that'd be great. Awesome. Big revival of liberty, right? We are libertarians. We believe in freedom. We believe in economic freedom. We believe in personal liberty. That's what the Wake Up America show is all about. So if you like the content today, don't just click like and subscribe, but become a sustaining monthly member by making a contribution each month. You can do it on Rumble, or you can do it. We recommend the way to do it is to help us stay cancel proof, is to go to wakeupamericaShow.com/support, because that way, even if Rumble decides they don't like us one day, there's not going to be anything that can cancel us if you are a monthly supporter at wakeupamericaShow.com/support. And here's the deal. We don't just take your money and you don't get anything back for it. We do monthly prize drawings. As a matter of fact, we need to do one today.
Right now.
We need to do one right now. So we're going to do that with our monthly supporter list.
You're good.
Yes. So we're going to give away an item from the AP for Liberty shop. If you're a monthly supporter, then you get entered into the into the prize pool.
Yep.
So I'm going to go to the list and choose somebody at random right now to win an item from apforlibertyshop.com. But you also get a 20% discount at the store.
You do.
So if you are already a monthly subscriber to the show and you don't have your discount code, send me a text at 573-319-1586. Make sure you tell me your name on the text, because sometimes it just says the phone number. I don't see your name. So that way I can look it up and confirm you're a monthly supporter.
So you're not just trying to get it without subscribing.
Right. Well, I don't think people would do that, right? So
you're all honest people.
Of course you are. So you get a 20% discount at the shop. You get entered into monthly prize drawings. And a few months ago, we actually gave away a gun, like a real gun. Yeah, we gave away an AK-47 a couple of months ago.
State lines too. So it's not like we just give to people here locally.
Exactly. So thank you very much for all your support of the Wake Up America show in the last year. We're grateful to have your friendship. Make sure that you click like and subscribe to the channel so that you can get updates whenever we go live. And we'd love to hear from you more. Are we ready to do the giveaway?
Well, I'm ready. I love free stuff.
Let's pull it up. We're going to do
I always wish I'm going to be a winner, but I know I'm not in the drawing.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do our giveaway this month. The winner of the Wake Up America show's gift certificate giveaway is a free item from the shop is Noah Picorni. And maybe he's listening and maybe he's not, but either way, congratulations to Noah. He's a monthly subscriber. He's a freedom ninja. So if you go to wakeupamericaShow.com/support, there's different support levels. You can see, I'll type into the chat right now, wakeupamericaShow.com support. Go check it out. You've got Freedom Ninja. You've got Peterson's Patriots. We even had somebody, Andy became a member of Benjamin's Brigade. So he's our only $100 bill a month. Thank you, Andy. You're the man, brother. We appreciate you.
So kind.
Yep. So thank you very much to all of our friends and supporters of the Wake Up America show. Our 1-year anniversary special will be next Tuesday. We're going to be out for a 3-day weekend. It's been a fantastic show, and the last 2 days have been unbelievably insane in terms of viewers and listeners. Thank you.
We're going to bask in happiness.
Yes. All right. What do we do? What do we say, Stephanie?
Well, I know what I say.
What do you say?
Be free.
Be free.
That's what I say.
Yes. Well, I just want to say again, thank you to everyone who's been a part of making the Wake Up America show a huge success now as of this week. These numbers, 200 people, 300 people watching, almost 400 people watching this morning, has changed. It's changing our lives, like immediately. We went from struggling to success in the matter of a couple of days. Thank you for being a part of that.
For the future now.
We do. We think we can do it. We believe we can make it. You're helping our American dream come true just by helping us to spread the message of economic freedom and personal liberty, which again, at the end of the day, that's what we're all about. Liberty comes first, more than all the money, more than all of the fun, more than all the silliness, even more than our relationship. More important than us is our American freedom and our individual liberty, which is what we fight for. Stephanie, I love you.
I love you.
I love you, Freedom Family.
Before I met you.
I know. Freedom Family Friday. We'll be back next Friday, and Stephanie will be joining us on Tuesday for the special. We'll see you guys on Tuesday on the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericaShow.com. See you guys later.
Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Hello, my name is Kelvin. Welcome to Frenchy Bush. This is my Didi's website. Now I've decided to speak to you with my real voice for the first time ever to tell you about how cool Frenchy Bush is. But I've decided that this is the perfect opportunity to share with you. Frenchy Bush is a good website. You should follow us on socials. If you like Frenchies or any kind of bulldogs, me and my new brother George are going to try to make your life more fun.
Hello, I'm George. My neck isn't really thick yet, but it will be. We are so glad you're here. Please ignore my floating eyeball. It helps me spot predators who might be approaching from the sides.
Didi made Frenchy bullshit to review things that he uses on me and my brother to tell you if it's good or bullshit. Take this collar, for example. Didi really likes it. Didi said it's really handy because us Frenchies got thick necks. Need something really tough. People think Frenchies are little, but if you look at us from below, you can see we are really pretty buff. Beefcake, yes. Look at my creamy thighs and chest. Yes, you like that?
Big brother, please focus.
Frenchy Bush. Please follow us for more great content and read the Frenchy Bush blog for more fun and cool stuff.
I'm a public defender.
I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your Founding Flavors at apforlibertyshop.com.